Hi. So on a Sunday afternoon, beginning of April, we're having an ad hoc meeting, and obviously it's on Zoom, like everybody. And we talk about the situation, right? Everything that's happening in the market, everything that's happening around the world. And I have to say, at the time, I did not have the foresight to really understand how the HR technology is going to take center stage in this situation, this crisis that's been going on, both in the survival and the recovery from the situation. Everybody's talking about what's happening in e-commerce, that e-commerce jumped 10 years in a 6 months period. And I think we're not understanding fully yet how HR technology has jumped in a similar way, taking this centric place and really becoming the focus of a lot of companies as they figure out their next decade. So I'm Arik Galansky. I'm the VP Technology at HiredScore. And what we do at HiredScore is we help the largest companies in the world hire more fairly and more efficiently. And we do this with AI, with a lot of work on the client data, really helping them be more data-driven in their recruiting and talent management processes. So now I think I can say we're half a year into this situation, that what started as a great idea almost 10 years ago really brought us to the situation that now in 2020, we have some of the largest problems in talent that we need to solve as an ecosystem. Both an unemployment crisis that has not been seen for many decades, and actually with BLM and everything, the aftermath of it, starting to solve some of the biases that have been in the job market for centuries. And a lot of companies are now seeing the opportunities to start solving that situation. And AI and HR technology in general is really finding itself at the middle of this, helping to facilitate this change. Now, what we learned very quickly is that when we're talking about large corporations, they're very different. Each one of them is really a unique snowflake. I know it's a bit of a joke sometimes, but they're so different. And the way you saw the crisis impact them was different as well. Some companies really are in industries that had shut down and had to close offices, sometimes downsize meaningfully, or at least furloughed a lot of employees. So that's one situation. And other companies actually went into mass hiring, needed to get 20, 30, and sometimes 100,000 people into critical roles for their business that suddenly became in the middle of the situation. And what's really unique is that some companies found themselves being the first kind of company in one department and the second kind of company in another department or business unit, where suddenly they have a very unique challenge that they never faced before of quickly upsizing and downsizing at the same time, while their HR teams are also a lot of times not at full capacity. So they really became very agile in how they have to think about their people organizations. And so in some situations, a company is saying, I have 1,000 people here in this business unit. I love those people. I want to keep those people, but this department or business unit is closing down. And so how do we upskill, reskill, or just find the right place for those people in the organization so we don't lose them to competition? And when the economy jumps back up, we can have them in the org and continue advancing. And other companies are saying, how can I now scale a recruiting function that usually hires 1,000 people to hire 10,000 people? which is, again, a very unnatural situation. You're not usually doing that. It requires you to be very agile in how you think. And the last, I think, maybe example is companies are really finding themselves in a situation where they want to adopt a better diversity strategy as a result of what's happening right now in the United States, but also in general. And it's not easy. It's not easy for them to understand how a diversity strategy would look when it's very hard to even understand what's really happening in your organization in terms of diversity. Now, companies are adapting to this situation, and they're adapting quickly. And the companies that adapt quickly, that adopt new technologies and how to use them, that adopt new processes, basically adopt a new kind of thinking because of the crisis, that is not going to go away. There are new methods, there are new technologies, there are new ways of doing things, there are new edge in being an agile HR organization is not going to go away. And as we move on to the next phase of the economy, these companies are going to benefit from all of the things they suddenly learned how to do. And this is, I think, the jump that we're seeing. And I do think some of our take on the future of work is going to be dictated by those early movers, fast movers that now have a big advantage on anybody else in the market and can make more of what they have, can get more from their people, can put people in the right position at the right time in new ways. So AI is really a powerful solution in helping companies do that, because AI has a few capabilities that they just help an organization with. One of them is just doing all the mundane things that a person usually does. So you could free up 50 to 70% of the recruiter's time, but just reducing work they shouldn't be doing from the first place to focus on the things that are more human, more thought-provoking, thought-requiring actions. Because AI and technology in general can do a lot of the other things and automate a lot of the other things. And the other thing is there's capabilities that people never had. We were never able to scan millions of resumes, millions of candidates from this year and last year, and take all of that into account and produce a result within seconds or minutes. So that's something that technology can do we were never able of doing before. And just the ability of AI and big data technology to consume very large quantities of information and produce an insight, produce an action out of this is something that's creating a way to do a lot of the things that companies want to do today. But it's not enough to talk about AI, what AI can do, because one of the big problems that organizations have is how to introduce AI into the organization, because it's hard. It's hard for companies to do this. And this is one of the things we at HiredScore, we really put a lot of effort into understanding not just how to build an AI technology, but also how to build in technology and AI into all of our different processes and tools that will make it easy for companies to take our technology and bring it into the organization. So the first thing is just making it possible to introduce, right? Being the kind of technology that's compliant, the kind of technology that helps you with diversity strategies, that is white box and explainable and really allows you to use it. But the other thing is making it easy to introduce, because it's not enough to be able to bring in a technology if you need to have huge amounts of IT time that you don't have, right? So really optimizing the way HR operation and AI operations in HR work has been probably our second biggest focus, if not the first biggest focus for us. Getting to a place that adopting an AI technology today with HiredScore can actually be easy and take very little time from your HRIS team, from your IT team, and for your TA team to do. And even after you install the technology, now becomes like the second stage, which is maintaining that technology, because that needs to be cheap as well. That needs to be easy as well. So I think that's the kind of the second part. And the last part is measurable. You need to make sure that you can measure and understand what you're getting from the tools that you're introducing. And companies should help you understand this and really see kind of the numbers from this. Um, Now, I know it's the future of work conversation, so a lot of people are just going to be talking about what the future will look like. But I think it's really interesting for all of us to also understand how we can make that future happen and how we make that future happen today with companies that are widely adopting AI technologies across the Fortune 500, but also across pretty much every business in the space, and how can we make it a better process for everyone to get there? Because the companies that are doing this effort right now are the companies that are creating the way the future of work is going to be in a few years. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure. Feel free to contact me for more information, Arik at HiredScore.com, and happy to have further conversation.